Alright guys, today I've decided to take a look at Heroes of Newerth, which is an online multiplayer game. I'm joined by my friend Danny Garcia here. Danny, say hello.
Hello.
So Danny and I have been playing Han together since, I'd say, what do you think, last Christmas?
Yeah, around winter of last year.
Yeah, it was a pretty recent, yeah, it was a recent release, came out around then. It's a Dota spin-off. I know most of you don't know what Dota is. It's Defense of the Ancients. It was a custom game in Warcraft 3, which is a strategy game that looks pretty similar to this. I don't want to say this is a wholesale ripoff of Dota because I feel like that wouldn't do the Han team justice, but it kind of is a wholesale ripoff. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it borrows a lot of elements from that game, Dota.
yep. It's a team-based game, and as you guys can see, if I've moved I've moved the screen to the bottom lane where we have three players, Palmsy, Gadon, and Kill the Knight, which are going to try to gank this orange hero over here. So they're sitting at the lane, waiting for the game to start. If you'll notice, there's a counter at the top of the screen. So we're waiting. When it gets to 0, creeps or neutral monsters will start spawning from the different bases. So let's watch these guys move along. So the one in the front, Gadon, is playing Devourer, who has a couple of slowing abilities, and what they're going to try to do is catch this other hero off guard and wreak some havoc. So let's see how it goes. So they're chasing. Palmsy on Armadon should be dropping a Snot, which would slow down these heroes, but he just can't seem to get in range. So, no big deal. The gank kind of goes to the wayside, and everybody moves back to their lanes.
So sort of a failed attempt, but no harm, no foul, no damage done. You can see Kill the Knight is placing a ward right next to the tree on that top lane. What this does is basically it gives a vision. During certain instances in the game, power-ups will appear in the river area during the middle of the map, and basically these wards will grant vision of these runes, which basically just helps heroes and gives them power-ups.
So in the meantime, it looks like the bottom lane is going to be a tri-lane, which means there will be 3 player-controlled heroes, which you can see the orange, the blue, and the yellow hero. Those are all being controlled by players. And normally a tri-lane strategy is used to get an early advantage for a carry-style hero, like this one that looks kind of like a sand monster. He's Sand Wraith. Now, when I say carry, I mean a hero that's going to be better late game. And while we're talking about this, there's been a kill at the middle lane. So it appears that Bubbles, the turtle, has killed Gadion, the big monster, through some means. So he died, and now he has to teleport back from base, so he's now coming back. And the laning phase is going to continue. Normally this phase is a little slow, where heroes will exchange blows, but it's more about trying to kill these creeps, or neutral monsters. We have the trees and the mummies, for the respective sides.
What this will afford you is basically experience, so you can power up and gain new skills, and also last hitting creeps will get you gold, so you can buy better items. Basically, just a point I wanted to touch on between, tri-lane versus a lane like the middle lane is that the less heroes you have in the lane, the more experience and gold you're afforded. So basically, it's a trade-off. Sometimes it's advantageous to be solo in a lane where you can get more experience and last hits, or you can have multiple people in the lanes where you can basically bully the other team out of your lane.
And this game's a perfect example. If you'll notice, Palmsy and Kill the Knight are stuck back at their tower, which will provide them some defensive bonuses, as well as attacking the other team. And it's keeping them so far pushed back that is really the folly of the Legion team, which is the blue, orange, and yellow heroes, because their goal in a tri-lane is to keep people as close to their tower as possible. That way, the creeps come further down, and they're not in tower range of the other team. So
Right. You definitely don't want to be out in the open, so that you can be. Basically, what ganking means, we sort of referenced earlier, is to be ambushed. And that's definitely something you want to avoid at all costs. We see in the middle lane, Gadion has died once again.
And what Gadion's doing is he's having a real hard time versus this other hero. And the middle lane heroes are usually the ones that you're going to want to get the best farm early game. Now you can see Bubbles now has a 2-level advantage. He's level 5 while Gadion's level 3. This is going to make it a lot easier for him to kill Gadion, as well as he can feel like he's comfortable leaving the lane and going to, say, the bottom or the top to help out his teammates, whereas Gadian's got a real disadvantage now being, well, he just hit 4, but he's still a level down, and certainly will be a lot lacking in the gold.
Now we see in bottom lane, DJ Wingdings playing Gladiator has teleported down to the bottom lane in order to help the bottom lane out. So now it's effectively a 3v3 situation. So a little bit more balanced, a little back and forth going on in this lane.
There's a bit of initiation from the Witch Slayer on the other team, but doesn't look like too much is gonna happen. But Witch Slayer's being slowed, and DJ Wingdings drops a Pitfall, which is his hero's ability. You saw the spikes come out of the ground, and that's pretty long range, but it has a delay, so you kind of have to judge kind of timing it like skeet shooting to get it off right. And looks like he did, and they got the hero kill. Now we haven't been paying any attention to the top lane, but we see Veneration and what is Purple's name? Jim duking it out 1v1. Now Veneration was recently in the lane with DJ Wingdings, but he left the lane for a little while to go help out on the bottom, so now it's a 1v1, where Wretched Hag was getting more experience before. Now they'll be on an even setting. Looks like we've got some more potential initiation on the bottom, or just back and forth. Since it's a dual tri-lane, you're going to see a lot more, I guess, aggression, since both teams feel... Wow. Looks like Gadian's gone down again in the mid lane. This Bubbles is really working him pretty hard, and that's a huge advantage for his team if this Bubbles decides to start roaming, which, when I say roaming, I mean going to the other lanes to help out. And Veneration is in trouble top, and he goes down to a Wretched Hag sonar screen.
So not looking too good for the Hellborn team. It's 4 kills to 1, so definitely playing at a disadvantage, but still early game. Kills will basically afford you, again, experience and gold, but since it's still early games and everyone's still lower level, each death really isn't as impactful as it would be during the mid and later games. So definitely we are, Hellborn is definitely at behind, but nothing insurmountable.
Right. So if you'll notice in the mid lane, the tower is getting really, really low, and what'll happen when the tower dies is the gold will get split amongst the heroes of the team. Gadian gets a pretty good hook on this Bubbles, but as we can see, the Bubbles is a lot stronger, but it seems DJ Wingdings has come into the lane, and now he's going down into the river, where he'll meet Kill the Knight, who will be able to slow him and effectively finish him off. So DJ Wingdings gets that kill, a good example of how roaming can really impact the team. So if you'll notice, it says DJ Wingdings has ended Rust Lord's serial killer streak for 285 gold. Normally a hero kill, what is 200 gold, right, Danny?
200, yeah, 200 gold. 200
gold base, but if the other hero has been killing a lot of heroes and not dying, like a serial killer is 3 in a row, I believe.
3.
Yeah, so it's gonna effectively give you a bit more gold. So you want to take out those heroes that haven't died in a while, because that's the best way to get gold for yourself and slow down the opponent's farm. When I say farm, I mean ability to accumulate gold.
I just wanted to point out, one of the things that you really can't pick up from the video per se is the amount of communication that is necessary for all these team-coordinated movements. So basically what you're not seeing or hearing is each of the teams, coordinating strategies and basically calling out plays in order to, set up ambushes and push towers and things like that.
Yeah, it's usually a game that you'll see a couple of friends, or the game will go a lot better when you have a couple of friends playing together using Ventrilo or another voiceover IP speaking thingy. We'll just skip that part, that was terrible. So we can see in the bottom lane, Sandwraith gets taken out by a well-placed Devourer hook, and that was good on Gadian for leaving the mid lane. But the trade-off is that Bubbles in the middle was able to take out the tower.
So there's a definite, trade-off between having a bunch of people in the lane. If you can basically have a lot of people in the lane, you can almost guarantee a kill on an enemy hero, which will definitely put them behind. But at the same time, you're sacrificing the farm or the golden experience you could be getting from a solo lane. So here we see Gadian trying to initiate on a Wretched Hag. We have reinforcements coming in on all sides.
So it looks like Wretched Hag's going to go down, but Gadion is getting quite low. They've got reinforcements coming in. Now this fight's starting to turn itself around. Palmsy's able to run away, drop his spikes, but there are a lot of people on the Legion side chasing. DJ Wingdings gets a great hook, or great pitfall, and is able to take out 2 of the other heroes. However, that Bubbles takes out yet another person. This Bubbles is doing really well this game.
Yeah, he really is. A 3-for-2 trade. Still early game, so not too bad, but a little back and forth. It currently is tied at 6 kills apiece. You see some teleportation to the top lane. You see Veneration picks up a kill as Flint Beastwood.
We haven't seen much from Veneration this entire game. He's been up here solo farming, and I guess it's much to the detriment of the other team that they've left him alone the entire game, because now he's able to get a pretty easy kill on that Sand Raid. But at the same time, that Bubbles is taking out DJ Wingdings in the middle lane.
Here we go again, Bubbles. Bubbles just mopping up. See some action at the top lane.
So we've got some more going on. Gadion comes in with a great ultimate, is able to keep that Wretched Hag locked down, but here comes Bubbles to push Gadion back out of that lane. So it's a bit of trouble. This Bubbles is proven to be the hardest part of the game for the Hellborn team.
It definitely is the highest level. He's definitely, racking up the kills for the Legion side. Definitely their best player at the moment.
For sure. So games like this will generally continue for anywhere from, I'd say, 20 to 45 minutes are the highs and the lows of game time. We see that Bubbles takes out yet another hero in the top lane, Veneration, who's had a pretty easy time so far. He's able to get taken out by that Bubbles, and now Gadion's chasing. Bubbles has a couple escape mechanisms, and he's able to get away.
There it is.
Oh, no, very
missed.
close hook from Gadon, but it's just not able to take it out. So it looks like we've got some pings going out on the bottom lane. Perhaps the Legion team's going to try something out, but it looks like the Hellborn team knows. Maybe not. DJ Wingdings going into the lane. We've got Wretched Hag coming up, and it's just the 2 of them versus the 3 of the Legion team. But we can see Kill the Knight is coming in, so potentially some action gonna go forth soon.
Everyone sort of doesn't want to initiate. Basically wants to wait for the other team to make a move so that they can counter.
Right. But this has just been like I wanted to introduce Heroes of Newerth because it is I guess it's a niche game, but it's got a pretty vibrant community, and it's being casted on a couple online sources, so it's just something I wanted to check out, just give it a dry run, see how it feels. So I want to thank my friend Danny for helping me out on this cast.
Anytime.
He'll be joining me for the majority of my cast. I'm hoping to make a couple later in the semester with games that are a little bit more accessible, but I thought Heroes of Newerth rather, was a good starting game, just to take a look, just to see how everything's running.